Here are all the alien exosuits and mech forms in Dandadan. Hastur Kur's exosuit, or what I would like to call the spacesuit. This suit was so strong, if not for Hastur being a dumbass, the series would have ended in the middle of space globalist's arc, with two main characters put 6 feet under. This was actually one of the smallest suits in Kur's arsenal. It was humanoid, with a large pair of arms that have 3 fingers each. It had a head too small compared to the arms. It also had a tail on its back which Hastur could use in combat. He almost even killed Vamora with it. The suit could make its wielder move fast and even throw hands in close combat, but that was not its main ability. With this suit, Hastur could manipulate space. It could also create an empty space that would isolate people with spiritual powers from the rest of the world. The suit could literally carve out space and anything that was in the space at the same time. And because of the unique nature of the attack, no amount of physical force could defend that attack. Only Momo was able to defend that attack once with her spiritual powers. And if that wasn't enough, this exosuit could actually swipe the enemy's attacks and store it in a personal space located on its back. It could even launch those swiped attacks back at the enemies. With the exosuit, Hastur could even use the carved space as a barrier from enemy attacks. Along with that, with this suit, Hastur controlled the battlefield by either teleporting to different places in an instant or even displacing his enemies mid-attack. So now you know why I call this the spacesuit. In a way, this suit had everything one could desire from any battlesuit, almost impossible to destroy. That's why in a moment of desperation, Momo controlled a ton of rubble with her powers and charged at Hastur. Hastur used the suit's power to send the rubble and Momo down into the pocket dimension. Momo let herself be dragged in and unleashed a Momo tri-beam. Hastur barely escaped, but took some damage to the suit, and when in a fit of anger, he put all his focus on killing Momo, Okarun destroyed the suit with his turbo granny form. But of course, Hastur didn't die yet. Takonokaru Pacho Kur's suit. The only reason this suit didn't just off some of the main cast was because it was nerfed by a plot point. He's one of the advanced unit members. He made his debut in chapter 79, showing up alongside the rest of the advanced unit to ambush Gigi and Aira, with Suda Kokur and Takomeshi Kur by his side. This suit almost looked like a doll, but with really odd proportions. It had broad shoulders, a tiny waist and wide hips. And it wasn't just for show either. It was loaded with firepower, packing 10 missile launchers in total, 6 across its back and another 4 built right into its arms and legs. To top it off, the whole body was covered in detailed, intricate patterns, making it look both artistic and terrifying at the same time. The 3 of them quickly overpowered their opponents, with Takonoka shooting out tens of missiles which Aira managed to dodge. When she tried to kick him, he activated a barrier that electrocuted her. When Evil Eye arrived, he refused to fight because of the promise he made to Okarun. This caused Aira and Evil Eye to lose the fight. After the battle, this Kur stepped out of his battlesuit, commenting on how the planet's high moisture interfered with his lasers, and how Earth's heavy gravity gave humans unusually tough bodies. Aira then causes a distraction, allowing them to escape. Much later during the Kur invasion, he made a bold move by blowing up the aviate resident's car using his missiles. In the battle that follows, he initially dominated Aira, nearly defeating her, but then Okarun reveals the secret of the spiral, inspiring Aira to tap into both its power and the power of words. With her new resolve, she launches her special attack, Piro Novel Drill, drilling straight through his suit and finishing him off for good. Takawasa Kur's suit. This was a suit I am glad was destroyed because if it had survived, the MC gang wouldn't have. This was a bipedal humanoid exosuit that stood slightly hunched over. Its head was massive, kinda like the xenomorph. It also had 6 extra tentacle-like arms sprouting from its back. Each of them was over 3 meters long. The claws on the end of the arms also allowed the wearer to restrain the targets, and he used this on Aira, grabbing her and rendering her speed useless. But the real danger came from its energy absorption. During the Kur invasion, the pilot tried draining Gigi's energy directly. For a moment it looked like he might pull it off, but Gigi's raw power was just too much. The suit couldn't handle it. The systems overheated, spiraled out of control, and finally exploded, taking the rider down with it. But just imagine for a moment what would have happened if he had actually succeeded in extracting Gigi's energy. The head exosuit. Even as it was destroyed, the suit almost tore the MC gang apart. This belonged to another member of Corps' advanced unit. This one was a smaller exosuit, and pretty different from the usual designs. Instead of a full body, it basically had an elongated dome-shaped head with no eyes, just a gaping toothed mouth that doubled as a cockpit. The closest thing to this in design was a jet booster exosuit. This suit had a couple of firearms on either side, and the rest of the body was pretty minimal. It was just thin with stick-like arms and a narrow strip of metal at the bottom holding it together. We first saw it in Chapter 80 when the advanced unit ambushed the MC gang. In the middle of the fight, Okarun managed to deal some damage to it. He sent it burning to the ground. But Hastur Corps used its suit's spatial carving ability and knocked out Okarun, not letting him land the finishing blow. Thank God Mantis Shrimp saved Okarun as well as the head exosuit. He dragged them back to Ayase residence, and they figured out the finishing blow was not needed. The core inside was dead. What's really intriguing though was that his exosuit contained a mysterious ball identical to Vamola's. This made Momo suspect Vamora, and since Vamora couldn't communicate, Momo sent her packing and told her to never come back. And we all know that Vamora almost had to die to convince Momo. The Mantis exosuit. He became 100 times stronger in water, but Mr. Mantis Shrimp pulled an Uno reverse card on him. Another member of Corps' advanced unit piloted an exosuit designed to resemble a giant mantis. Like most of the Corps suits, the Mantis exosuit also had high strength and durability because of its mantis body. It had some unique movement as well, but its special power was revealed during its big showdown against Mr. Mantis Shrimp, where it turned out that he became 100 times stronger when fighting in water. To make things worse, he managed to stab Mantis Shrimp with a venomous needle, one that was designed to dissolve a victim's internal organs from the inside out. But before things could take a fatal turn, Mr. Mantis Shrimp attacked. In the water and in his empowered state, he was 240 times stronger. He then delivered a devastating punch that caused the Mantis exosuit to explode, killing the Corps pilot inside. Takoshin Jokur suit. This suit was the Yamcha of the Corps, there just to show how much stronger his opponents were. This belonged to another member of the Corps advanced unit. It piloted a mech-style exosuit, equipped with rocket launchers on its sides and a bunch of Gatling guns. It was bulky and didn't look one bit functional. Compared to the other Corps suits, this one was massive. Interestingly, the Corps was never shown outside of it. In his fight with Okarun, his firearms were destroyed, leaving him at a disadvantage. Later on during the invasion, when the rest of the crew showed up to stop the Corps from summoning their fleet, he ended up facing Vamola. She overpowered him, and after a series of her attacks, the exosuit exploded, killing the Corps inside. Takomeshi Corps suit. The unique appearance and abilities make it the most useful and useless at the same time. The Takomeshi was one of the bigger exosuits, standing around 3 meters tall. Its body was round and almost egg-shaped, covered in detailed patterns with a huge circle on its stomach. On its back it had jet boosters, while 6 massive cylinders jutted out like bulky arms. Its head resembled a helmet, and its feet were short and stubby, almost comical compared to its hulking body. But despite its odd look, the suit was far from harmless. With its boosters it could hover and propel itself into the air, reaching impressive vertical height. Those huge cylinders weren't just for show either. They worked as blunt weapons that could smash anything in close range. Its true power, though, was in its energy abilities. The suit could generate a shockwave field, surrounding itself in a 1 meter radius that damaged anything caught inside. Against most enemies, it was terrifying, but Gigi's key techniques cut right through the field, making it useless against him. That's when the Takomeshi unleashed its deadliest weapon, the anti-gravity beam cannon, hidden in the circle on its stomach. Amplified by the pseudo Kokur, the beam overpowered Gigi's evil gun and nearly finished him off. But Gigi drew on the evil eye's energy to amplify the attack. With that surge of power, he blasted through the beam and destroyed the suit once and for all. Suda Kokur suit. In a way, instead of the advanced unit, If Core had sent a dozen of these to Earth, they would have probably had a better shot at the invasion's success. And they thought the same, just a bit too late. This exosuit leaned toward the smaller side compared to the rest of the advanced unit. It was cylindrical in shape, with small floating wings and thin stick-like arms. Honestly, it looked like someone had sketched a pencil, then slapped on a pair of eyes and hands. But don't let the design fool you. The suit was built for precision. Those stick arms were made to carry a massive sniper rifle, one that packed the destructive power of a railgun. What really set the suit apart was its mobility. Among all the advanced unit, the Suda Kokur had the best movement capabilities. It could levitate, dart through the air at high speeds, and fire off deadly pinpoint shots. The combination made it incredibly difficult for the heroes to close the gap, especially when the suit kept its distance and rained down attacks from above. And the scary part is this wasn't some one-of-a-kind machine. When the core invasion began in full force, more units with the same design appeared, showing that the pseudo co-model wasn't unique at all. It was a standard combat suit built to dominate the battlefield. Despite its strength, the original Suda Kokur pilot still fell. He teamed up with Takomeshi Core to try and bring down Gigi, but Gigi's awakened power overwhelmed them both. With his evil gun technique, Gigi blasted their suits apart and destroyed them once and for all. The Imotaka Core suit. This one was probably more suited for interrogation and torture rather than direct combat. It was a large exosuit, being about 2 meters in length, with a flat body. It had elongated arms and legs with wide hands and feet that had 4 fingers. It also had circular eyes and a hollowed out mouth. Behind its head, he even had a strange spine-like structure, giving him an eerie, otherworldly look. Just like the Hastura Core suit, Imotako also had a pocket dimension ability. But instead of carving out things and attacks, Imotako can actually take people into the dimension directly. And within that dimension, everything would obviously be under the wielder's control. Whenever a wearer enters this dimension, they couldn't be attacked physically at all. But still, the wearer didn't have any restrictions on what it could do in the physical world. This kind of invincibility came with a catch. While untouchable in the pocket dimension, the wearer was vulnerable to attacks that could cross dimensions, like when Momo's newly developed Momo Tri-Beam finished off the Imotako Core. Along with that, Imotako's core suit actually had another ability that kind of left some possibilities open for the wielder. These spikes were flexible, fast, and he could even turn aliens like Serpo into complete slaves. So if Core had gone a bit stealthy and landed 30 of these on Earth along with their own operators, the fate of the planet would have changed. The Jet Booster Exosuit. This suit should have been the standard issue, and with its abilities it looked like it was. This exosuit was built like a humanoid, about average size, as big as Okarun. Its body had that dark, biomechanical look, with some extra plating around the arms and knees. The hands had 4 fingers. The feet had 3 clawed toes, and on its back were a pair of jet tubes for extra mobility. The head was dome-shaped, taking up most of the top, with no eyes at all, just a big, toothy mouth that made it look pretty menacing. Now that I think about it, like a lot of the advanced unit, this also kinda looked like a xenomorph, but with a regular sized head. This suit first appeared in Chapter 79. The Jet Booster Exosuit features a pair of jets on its back that serve to enhance the wearer's hand-to-hand combat skills. The main strength of the jets is that they granted the wearer greater mobility from the propulsions, with the enhanced speed being great enough to fight on equal ground against high-speed enemies like even Okarun in his turbo form. The real strength of the jets was the insane mobility they gave the wearer. The enhanced speed let her fight on par with even Okarun in his turbo form, and the suit's compact size made it far more agile than most exosuits, perfect for assassination strikes. On top of that, it was built tough. Even after a crash, the pilot could walk away, which made the suit not just fast but dangerously durable. The only drawback of the city was that it didn't have enough firepower like most of the other suits on the list. The Great Kinta. Right now, this is probably the only thing I could think of that stands against Count Saint Germain. Kinta's crowning achievement he built to take on gigantic opponents. Originally, he designed it to stop Bamora after she lost control of her kaiju suit. Later, he reconstructed it again to battle Hastur Core, who had stolen Bamora's armor. Over time, the robot developed into 3 distinct forms. The first form was a towering statue-like figure modeled after a Buddha, complete with huge hands In the second form, the Buddha gained a pair of sunglasses and shifted toward a more combat-oriented design. The third form was a full transformation into a sleek Gundam-style mech, built for maximum agility and firepower. By chapter 188, Kinta pushed it further with nanotech, creating a compact version that could even fuse with Okarun's suit for a bizarre but effective hybrid mech. At its core, the great Kinta is all about adaptability, constantly evolving through Kinta's studies and inventions. And maybe the one thing Count Saint Germain's Kozuka knives can't simply steal. In that same fight, when things looked bleak for him and Okarun, the two combined their mech suits into a bizarre but surprisingly effective cushion. With Kinta literally standing on Okarun's shoulders, the duo formed a new hybrid mech. Despite its ridiculous appearance, the combination gave them the edge they needed to take down Hase and his jumping crone powers. Vamola's kaiju suit. Probably the suit that might be holding something that we haven't discovered yet. When Vamola escaped her home planet, she took the kaiju suit with her. That suit became her most iconic weapon, and honestly it's the main reason she even ended up joining the team. We first saw it during the kaiju arc, right after she landed on Earth. Still new to the planet, she clashed with the main crew, and the suit made its debut. At first, the kaiju suit looked like a cosplay costume. Vamola could wear it and move around freely. But don't be fooled, because it could easily hold its own against humans enhanced by yokai powers. On top of that, it had a built-in defense system. We saw this in action when Okarun accidentally triggered it. The moment that happened, Vamola completely lost control. Things only calmed down after Momo and Ida piloted the great Kinta Bodhisattva, managing to force the suit into shutdown. And that was just its basic form. The suit also had a terrifying second state, slaughter mode. We saw this when Hastur, after losing his own mech, hijacked Vamola's armor. In that mode, the kaiju suit transformed into a gigantic feral beast. Its monstrous size, raw aggression, and sheer destructive power made it one of the most dangerous weapons on the battlefield. But its abilities didn't stop there. The kaiju suit could also blend perfectly into its surroundings, unleash a powerful electric beam from its nose, and even shift into casual clothing when needed. Over time, Vamola had to figure out many of these features on her own, discovering just how overpowered the suit really was. What's most fascinating is how much its abilities reflect its design. The whole thing screams Godzilla, unstoppable, primal, and almost divine. That connection ties back to its origins, since the suit was modeled after the Sumerian god. And yet it feels like we've only scratched the surface. When Hastur tried to steal the kaiju suit, we almost got a glimpse of what else it might be hiding. But the damage from that battle kept its remaining secrets locked away. The aviate suit. The most functional and at the same time the most mysterious suit of them all, because we don't even know where it came from, and that should scare the crap out of us. After the jet booster pilot got her ass handed to her during the invasion arc, she barely managed to escape with her life. That's when Count Saint Germain stepped in, ever the opportunist. He built a brand new suit for her. This one carried over the jet booster's best traits: humanoid design, speed, durability, and fluid mobility, but added a dangerous new twist. On his right thigh sat a disc-like mechanism. Spinning it unleashed the suit's full power, but only for a moment, just long enough to land one fight-ending strike. She later used this suit in an ambush on Okarun, even after he had lost his powers. But strangely enough, she still failed. Maybe it was just bad luck, or maybe the problem was the pilot herself. What's most intriguing here isn't the fight, though it's the source. Count Saint Germain. Up until now, we've only seen him as a yokai hunter and collector. But here, he armed Akura with a brand new weapon. Which raises the question, is Germain starting to merge his yokai obsession with alien tech? Would that create a hybrid of yokai with its own consciousness, but with a body of a machine? And would that be a new species added to the list of all the other species in Dandadan?